Hey, we are here with Death Unto Madness. This is episode 34? Yeah, 34. We're getting up there. We are pivoting towards the climax. I'm excited to see what happens today because that will probably shape a lot of what will happen in Sinia as we kind of wrap up things in Nema. So, can Joser and Maya save a goddess from death? Can Alpheus find reconciliation and forgiveness for all of his crimes? Can Avra make a bird friend? We will find out all of this and more on today's episode of Death Unto Madness. Okay, let's go ahead and do Artha. No, that's what we do at the end. The things you get, we'll read off the things you can get Artha for. Beliefs, instincts, and traits. Let's do it, Alpheus. Go ahead and read off your stuff for us, please. You're muted.
I'm muted. Give me 5 seconds because I want to change a word or two.
A whole word?
No problem.
It's pretty drastic. Will Alpheus be the same again?
Of course not.
Okay. My beliefs are I feel guilty for Titan kidnapping Ben, so I will do everything I can to keep him safe and establish him as the rightful king. After some self-reflection, I am concerned that most of Sinia's problems are my fault. I will talk to Joser to seek clarity.
Very fun.
I hate Titan for murdering my father, so I will work to gather allies against him and see him dead. My instincts are I always try to talk my way out of trouble, always treat others of the lower classes with respect, and always ensure that those I trust are lifted up. Traits are cramped hands, pragmatic, impulsive, catalyst, stubborn, driven, and handshaker.
Still one of my favorite traits that Alpheus has. Handshaker, man. Such a good one. Joser, what do you got?
I have been marked by my divine station and must live up to the charge given me. I will warn the populace of the Tartuan threat. My father's purposes are of greater import than my own safety. I will attempt to save Ness and her. And my light must be increased if I am to pierce the coming darkness. I will attempt to get in touch with one of my Embara.
I love that name. Good choice.
My instincts are always pray before addressing others. If Thalia is addressed negatively, then I ready my knife, and if I see wounds, I mend them. And
Let's
I have
read
many,
off
many,
your
many,
giant
many
list of
traits.
traits. Let's do it.
Rabble-rouser, well-travelled, cunning, and strange. Then die traits, we have faithful manhunter, weather sense, believer, vested, chosen one, force of nature, spirit familiar, and luminescent scars. And my call-ons are revered and resigned brackets to death end brackets.
Every once in a while, we want to read the big list and remind everybody of all the weird things that a character has. We've gotten to the point in Chrome Inquisitors where everyone has such a giant list of traits that it's just such a handful to read them all off. Maya, what do you got?
Okay, I'll do whatever it takes to elevate my son to the place of Prophet King. I will teach him how to be charismatic. I will learn about the gods and fill in the missing pieces. I will assist Joser in saving Nesanhur. And my husband needs to stay safe. I will make good on my deal with Joser and work on making my soul right with the Father.
Very fun.
Then instincts. I will always put my family first, no matter what. Never back down from a challenge. Always be helping from behind the scenes. Traits are colorful, religious, ambitious, thick-skinned, market privileged, bastard, loyal, power behind the throne, glib, and familiar face.
Very fun. And last but not least, Avra.
Ben won't get mad at me because I paused right in the middle of the Zaboomafoo intro. My beliefs are, I believe that with the help of the Irida and Ophelia, I can stop what is coming. I will be in communication with Ophelia as to how to save Sinia. I am curious about Joser's mention of Alikos. I will discover what he knows of my former bird. And I believe a lady is not noble without a bird on her arm. I will win over Balthazar.
Very fun. Instincts?
On my instincts, if I have a task beyond my specialty, then I seek the advice of someone more competent. If I have a question, then I will consult answers from the Irida. If I don't know someone's intentions, I will not reveal my secrets. Traits, your grace, formalist, religious, competitive, careful. Die traits, birdie talk, market privilege, dreamer, practice precision, and affinity for birds. I have a call-in trait for driven.
Very fun. Alrighty. So, what do we want to start with? I mean, we could just go straight into the Nessa and Hur stuff. And I think that probably makes sense because most of everybody else's beliefs revolve around Joser. So, I feel like we maybe just go with the Nessa and Hur stuff since that is what Joser and Maya were doing immediately afterwards. Unless I guess the only other thing that might make sense is maybe starting with, we should do Joser then because the only other thing would be Avra and Balthazar, but Carly is wrangling Finn still. So let's do Nessa and Hur stuff. This may derail the whole session depending on how it goes. Let's see. So when we last left off with that, you guys had gone to the priesthood of the twins and got a meeting with the high priest and succeeded on an ugly truth, right? To convince the guy to basically trust your warning, I guess, right? And so next would be the implementation of whatever you would like to do to try to save Nessa and Hur with the help of the priests. Correct? I see nods. Very good. I'm thinking one change I think I will make is I'm thinking, as I mentioned, this is like a priesthood. It's a temple for both twins. So I think there are two high priests, one for each god. And I think the high priest for Nessa and Hur is a man, and the high priestess for Hopsef is a woman. So those are the two people that you're kind of dealing with. What is your plan in a general sense? And then we can zoom in as need be to do scenes.
Great question, Joser. Can I
Maya's
get you a cup of
along
water
for the
to help?
ride? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We were talking songs earlier, and now I've got "Are You Ready for a Miracle" stuck in my head. Yeah. I've been trying to think of this a little bit because, like, there was some mention of it, like them trying to reincarnate or incarnate them into the temple, which would require them to be like here, which doesn't make sense. So I'm presuming it's not that, but I don't know whether it's something that we're setting up in advance or whether it's something we do right now.
Yeah, because I think didn't you find out that basically their plan, the Tartuans' plan, is to do whatever death process, the ceremony that causes death to happen, but this one is a special version of it that will incarnate her in a physical form in the temple for just long enough that they can stab her. Obviously, you don't want that to happen. So, yeah, I mean, you could either like just set up safeguards so that when they try to do it, maybe they come across, they slam into your magic instead. Or you could like try to do something right now in more of an offensive sense, right? Like Joser goes into the realm of the gods and like maybe fights Seraphim or something so that they can't even have the process anymore. That could be a whole thing. Those are the two things that first come to my mind. You could also technically just like get all of the priests. I mean, for either of these, you could get all the priests together to help you with things. But I'm not really sure if they would have any ideas themselves as to what might be helpful here. Only thing I can think of is maybe there's some way to make. Okay. Here's an idea that would be in line with the twin gods' prerogatives. You could have all the priests get together and do some enchanting magic, make some magical protective armor that will protect Nesanhur when she incarnates from the god-killing spear, right? Just be like, incarnate her first, strap her in the armor, and just like have her be ready for this. That could be a thing.
Hmm.
There you go, rapid fire suggestion, but we can workshop something. I assume the best route for Joser is to do something faith related.
Yes, pretty much. That's probably his best chance of doing things. Okay, let me just check.
So, question, I guess is this something where we've convinced one side of the twins to trust us. What about the other priests though?
I think that you've convinced both. I think what I'm basically saying is when you met with the high priest, you were actually meeting with both of them.
Both,
just a slight retcon because I was thinking about the structure of the temple, and I think that's the way they would set it up. But yeah, they work as one hierarchy, so I think you convinced both. Because it's not even like they had different wills and you had to get both of them. It was just an ugly truth. It was the same for both. So yeah, you can't just do like a, consecration or whatever necessarily. Well, I guess, consecration might work because Joser has a gray shade faith. Right, because it's like demons whose strength or will is lower than the faith attribute of the consecrating priest. Joser could set up some powerful protections from the Tartuans and whatnot. The issue is that Beirut would still be able to get through. Right, the actual guy they set up with this god-killing spear. So you could protect either this temple or to try to do the city. That would be a much more big thing from the Tartuans. With consecration, you could try to find an answer to a question. If you had some particular part of this where you're like, how can we do X? How can we destroy the death ritual that they're going to use to kill her momentarily? Or you could just do Ob 10 Miracle and solve the problem somehow, right? Just like kind of snap your fingers and try to hand wave him away.
Yeah, I was thinking, probably miraculous. He's thinking of like sort of reversing the version he was doing last time, especially with their enchanting. Like, I'm assuming that when they do the ritual to incarnate her, they will be like in the temple to then, incarnate her here. Correct?
So I think what is happening here is the actual ceremony can take place anywhere. Like the priests, they get to do this, whatever. They probably rounded up the remnants of the Nicaim when Cyrillus came through and are using them to do this. Now under Cyrillus's direction instead of Ophelius, right? And so that can happen from anywhere. They definitely would want to make sure Beirut is near where they're going to try to incarnate her. And I think the idea is that she's going to incarnate somewhere like this temple. This is like the place that's most attuned to her. So that's like, that makes sense as to, it's the same reason that, when the gods died, they incarnated in the original peoples that they had. Just because Pyrrhus, Sinia originally didn't worship Pyrrhus. They worshipped, Aratos, like the Kyrodians did, and only after so Pyrrhus was originally an Autoket god, along with you, right? Pyrrhus, and Seraphim were all the Autoket gods. So that's why he was born in Setkus. So there is like something that happens, like some attunement that's going on here. So this, if they did this ritual, even if it's a different version of it, that's just incarnating her in a physical form for a momentary stabbing, I think it's still here that it's going to happen. And the temple makes the most sense for that.
Yeah.
So they're going to...
I guess
in theory, they would like storm the temple and then set it off, right?
Right. So basically, I'm assuming it's Seraphim. It's probably Seraphim's followers, correct? That would storm the temple.
It's Seraphim's followers that are going to do the ritual. Then it came right over in Sinia, who are like doing the magic ritual to like do this. But the actual soldiers are the Brass League and the Tartuans, who are marching on the city right now. So they're just using god magic to communicate this, to time it up. So yeah, when the city is actually attacked, the people who are going to be storming are giant rock golems and the mercenaries that Avra got tangled with earlier. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly wondering, is there something that like Joser can like do the miracle to like save her, but is there something that I could do like in the background to like possibly get some people to like protect the temple from the outside? So that way these people don't just like can't come in just like right away. Because I'm assuming that basically means this temple's like defenseless, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's defenseless in the sense that like there's not a mercenary group that's dedicated to defend it. Yeah. This could be, it depends on what Joser wants the causality here to be, where, because I know at some point he's going to warn the city this is happening. So whether or not, I just don't want to necessarily to have Maya make a roll when Joser was going to warn the whole city anyway.
Sure.
But so I guess that's a question for you, Josh. What was your actual plan in warning the city? Would it make, or were you just going to basically tell them, hey, you should protect the temple because X, or is that something that Maya could do and Joser had a different idea of what he was going to specifically tell them?
I was going to leave it up to them in terms of like, do you start enchanting weapons to try and like, you probably can't kill them, but you could like banish them back to Tartuit. Like enchant your weapons to do that. Yeah, so he was basically going to leave it up to them whether they like abandon ship with the women and children or whether they stand and fight with enchantment or what they want to do.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So Maya,
just going to inform them.
I think there's definitely merit here to the idea of Maya going to one of the merchant lords that's in charge of the city who has a mercenary group and basically being like, hey, you should have an elite squadron of troops outside the temple because your god's about to die. That could definitely be a thing. The issue with that, I suppose, is that the guy who would do it more than anyone is the guy you've already hired to go to Sinia.
Right.
So you could, I mean, if you wanted to take that chance and have him leave some of his army here, you could. It depends on how important you find this. Or Maya could try to go to a different merchant lord, and that would be a much more difficult scenario. Because none of them are as spiritual as he is, right?
I just don't know that there's anything I can actually do to the faith roll. Like, if there's something I can do to like help, then she's happy to do it. But if there's nothing else, then I don't, I mean, yeah,
in theory, you could add your will dice, but to the pool that could give him extra dice to this. But
well, that's fine. Like if there's a way for her to,
but hey, I'm down with that idea too. It just depends on whether or not Maya wants to like take away from your guys' soldiers or attempt a very difficult test towards.
She definitely would not want to take away from Senia's soldiers. I'll just say that right now. Cares more about that. Not gonna lie.
So would Maya then try to go to one of the other merchant lords and just what maybe whatever one happens to be closest to the temple?
I don't even know if she could get an audience. That's the other thing. I guess
this is Maya's thing.
I guess I'd have to roll a circles test to do that first.
And given how circles worked, you could certainly do a difficult circles test to circle up a different merchant lord who is part of the temple, right? Who loves the twin gods and would do this, right? It would just be more unusual, right?
Right.
More unlikely.
Josh, what do you think?
Well, okay, there's a possibility that I was thinking of, which would probably require you to persuade these temple people.
Okay.
And that is he's kind of planning to set up a rebound on it. So he'd like set up, essentially he's going to set up a false seat of power so that when they like reach up to like grab Ness and her's divine power and pull it down to the temple, they do grab something. But all it does is like set off a mini nuke and destroy them all. It's like set up essentially a semi shield that basically just diverts all their attention and hopefully rebounds on them.
A beacon that says Nessa and Hur is here, but it's actually not. Yeah.
Oh, you mean to the like the Tartuit and stuff like that?
To the people.
When they perform the rite, they don't get what they want. They get.
So how could I help with that? I guess I don't understand how my.
It would require. It would require the. It would probably essentially we're at that point we're saying sorry temple people, you're gonna have to give up your temple.
Oh, like okay.
Oh yeah, convincing them to blow up their own temple. Yeah.
Convincing them this is fine. Don't worry about it. Your sacred temple. It's to save your god.
Yeah. One, it's going to cause them a problem, like getting them destroyed when they actually try it, and two, it's going to destroy the temple, so there's nowhere for her to incarnate. Is the hope.
Right, because we don't actually want her to reincarnate.
If we prevent her from incarnating, that means that they literally can't access her.
I mean, they could go through the whole longer process of trying to kill her, but like she has too many followers to do it the way they want to do it.
Right.
Because if they did the normal thing, and not only does it take longer, right, to do the long, drawn out process of the ritual, it's only going to send her as a child somewhere. Which, in theory, maybe they send her as a child here and then they kill everyone and burn the whole city to the ground. But there's no guarantee that Joser couldn't find out who the infant is and then snag her, right, and take her with you guys to Sinia, right? That's the sort of stuff that they're thinking through right now. So they're like, this is our best option. Storm the temple, incarnate her instantly, and stab her.
Okay.
But in theory, one thing you guys will have to think about is, in theory, if the aftermath of all of this is everyone in Nema is dead and the whole city is blown up, that is still accomplishes one side of the death ritual that they need anyway, and Ness and Hur goes back to being vulnerable to them again, because then they just have to do the process and she's dead. Right? Because it's the two sides of it are having lots of followers and actually being killed as a god.
Yeah, that's why this would be persuasion would be for the temple, because if it's like if they can just get the temple, then they're not necessarily going to go to the bother of destroying everything else at the same time. If they can get
so basically set it up as obvious as bait, so that they're going to the temple, all going to die, and then the rest of Nema is safe. So sacrifice the temple to save the rest of the city, I think is the idea.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay, got it. So you need me to persuade them of that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can try.
Good luck, Maya.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sure. I guess I can try that.
Yeah, I think you guys are probably still in meeting with them, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you guys discussed this a little bit before, and Joser gives you a look, Maya, like, all right, lay it out for him.
Yeah, and he'll probably take you off to the side so he can like pray for you. Because
there you go. Yeah, they probably need a moment. The two high priests need a moment to like process all this information. So you break for maybe a little bit, and then you guys are gonna come back and keep talking. But Joser can pray over Maya and give her some extra dice or whatnot.
Yeah,
sounds good to me.
So yeah, Joser will like take you over the side and say, "This is one of the bigger things we have ever attempted." And he'll like bow his head. In fact, I think he smiles for a moment beforehand, and he says, Yes. Dardanus blocked off my my access to the sun. Fortunately, that is not where I get my power anymore. And he like bows his head instead of looking up at the sun.
Maya like looks at him and then okay, and then she like also bows her head. Kind of awkward. She's like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing.
As a note, I did want to. I meant to mention this last time. I think while that is technically true, that is not completely true because you're still in the process of changing that power source, right? So I think there is I meant to mention this last time and I'm remembering it now. The title locking having happened, I think Joser will get +1 ob to faith rolls until something can be done about that. So there is like a slight weakening that did happen when that happened, even though Joser is like in the process of trying to change that whole thing over. He hasn't completed it yet. So like his leeching of the corruption and ascension back as the new Hagiel has not been completed yet. So this is still is cutting you off from some part of your power source. Because this is the thing, right? The father isn't here, so like it's impossible for Joser to actually get his full power just based off of that stuff because Arcadiat is literally like separated from him right now.
Yeah, but also when we initially came here, the father wasn't right here.
No. What I'm saying is there's a difference between the father not being quote unquote here, as in like, with the Israelites or whatever, and this planet has literally been cut off from Harmonia. So the sun is, and maybe I just didn't make this as clear in the lore. The sun is the only real fount of harmonic power, of like good magic in the system right now. Because of that when the Father of Gods got betrayed, like you literally cut off the place from him, and all the good magic has slowly been dwindling. The sun is indeed where you are getting your power from. Even though Joser, he is in this middle of the process and trying to reconnect with that. There is like it's happening, but there is still going to be this like +1 ob. You could do something about it, but there is a mechanical effect I wanted to mention. I meant to do that last time and then forgot.
Yep. So yeah, I'll pray for you. Boop doop.
Thanks.
Is there any other part of that that's confusing or?
Yeah.
Just making sure Josh isn't mad at me for taking away his for giving
I am. I am very mad.
Okay.
I had everything planned out, and now it's
yeah.
No, it's going to make things more difficult. But
yeah.
Okay. Especially for people who are not believers. Yes. So I guess he will attempt to open in your dices first. So yeah, he'll faith it up. He'll try and give you some extra dice first, I think, actually. And Thalia will help.
Is Thalia with us? I didn't even realize she was there.
She's always with me.
Thalia and Sadiq are always with you, but I always forget about them. Yeah.
She's like, when I was making my character, I made her a bodyguard, which is you pay 10 points no matter what she is, and then she's always with you, essentially. She's like an extension of your.
And Sadiq got hired, so yeah.
Yeah. And then so that's 2 helps and base ob. In fact, no, I'm not going to get her help on this. I'm just going to put in a persona. Make it, just 1 persona. Because with the increased ob, I believe that makes it ob 5.
You can get those sweet tests. Nice.
Sweet. So that it'll be 3 extra dice for you.
Okay.
And then I'll do a regular 1 also to open end your dice.
Nice.
It's even better. Look at that.
Good rolls.
Less dice, more outcome.
All right. after praying, Maya feels really good. She's like, wow, okay, I've never felt like this inspired in my life. I can do this. I can persuade these people to blow up their own temple. It'll be fine. Because if you don't, then the whole city's going to burn. It's going to get destroyed anyways. So you
obviously Joser's prayer here is we must convince them not to leave one stone on their upon another in the temple.
We must break down this temple and rebuild its foundation.
Rebuild it in 3 days, exactly.
Yes. If we win the whole war in 3 days, I'll return and try and miracle it back up again.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think the meeting reconvenes, right? And the two priests lean forward, and I think the woman says, "You must understand, this is a lot to take in. We know that something has been wrong for the past few weeks, but we had no idea it was this bad."
I just realized we leave and then we come back and like Joser is like full on surrounded by mist and has like a weird little halo and stuff because he's been praying. There's like the effects going on.
I mean, I think one of the things you told him was that Joser was Hagiel, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
but it's now even more apparent that is actually a thing. Yeah.
Yep. And I think the man is just like staring at you like, ah.
The crab will go, and not the crab, the little scarab will pop off and go and scuttle around.
Yeah.
Start inspecting the place, tapping it to find the weak structural points.
Yeah, so the man says, "What do you require of us? We cannot promise anything. We cannot promise that it is in our power to accomplish, but we are willing to help."
I'm really glad to hear you say that. Joser has, and just correct me if I'm out of line, because I know that we would have talked about this, and Maya would say it. I know Maya would say it correctly because she's better with words than I am.
Yeah, but so she would say Hagiel, so it sounds more important.
Okay, Hagiel. Hagiel has a ritual that he can perform to place a protection over Nesanhur and hopefully make it so that way she doesn't reincarnate at all. One way that you can help with that is to make sure there's no place for her to be able to reincarnate.
So is the idea of this blow it up before she would reincarnate?
No, it'd be like in the process of blocking them, it will blow it.
Right, like it'll be simultaneous kind of a thing is what I think she's going to say. Like, so during, as we're performing the ritual, it's going to alert them to come here and attack.
But isn't that what we don't want them to do?
They're going to come and attack no matter what. But the moment that we start the ritual, it will alert them to come here quicker. Here's our proposal. And I know that this is difficult and that you may not like to hear this. But if we don't do this, then the whole city may be lost and everything may be burned to the ground anyways. We want to set this temple up as bait. So they come here
silence.
And we can use this place as a defense for the town.
And the man says, "I think I know where you're going with this. Lure them here, where they think Nesanhur is going to be, and then when they arrive..." And he just lets it hanging, but you can tell he understands the basic concept, even if he doesn't understand like it's literally explosion, like a literal explosion.
Right.
But yeah, and the woman says,
and when they come here, they will be met with divine power.
Yeah, the woman says, "I'm sorry, I don't think I understand. Are you telling us that the most sacred space in all of Nema is going to be a trap for these things, and we're just going to let them waltz in and we're just going to let them waltz in and defile the sanctuary?" Why can't we put protective barriers around the town itself? Protect Nema as a whole. You
To do so would-
Sinians are just going to leave us?
We would gladly have you come with us, but there are
We
only
can't
so many ships
leave
in the
our
harbor.
city.
You would not. Well, if this works, you will not have to. If you put up the barriers, they will
They will
have
get through
time to
eventually.
work something out, or they will simply bypass it entirely.
We understand wanting to be defensive, and sometimes in order to be defensive, we have to do something that they wouldn't expect.
Yeah. So
They may already have agents in the town. We are certain there are no agents here. This is a holy place, after all.
And you would reduce it to pile of rubble, the man says. And also, as I think a world building note, I think they're both twins. I think to be the high priest and priestess, you have to be twins. That'd be a
So,
fun.
speak in like unison.
like there's probably like twins that get taken at childbirth and raised up in the religion.
I don't know if what Maya's going to say is going to be heresy. Probably is. But I think she would say something like, this place is holy. But what makes this place holy than Nessenhor herself and her people?
It is not the Asgard is not a place, but a people.
People, right?
Yeah.
That kind of a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
I think
an argument she's going to try to make.
Yeah, I think Joseph nods and starts to reaches into his pack, and he says, "Other places can be sacrosanct. Other places can be consecrated. The temple can be moved, and in time restored." And he pulls out his consecrated tent and spreads it out. And he says, "After all, holy places can be moved."
Yeah, it's probably Thalia who had it strapped to her back and her backpack or something, right? She's
Yeah, she is the
getting it
camper.
out for
So.
you. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
You may have this tabernacle for your services in the meantime.
Okay, yeah. I think that's the role there. I know what their counter argument will be if you fail, but okay, cool. Let's do this.
All right, what's their will?
Good question. I think it's probably a 6. But you're also asking them to do something that is very much against their religion specifically. I think of all the gods, the twins have a very particular idea about sacred spaces because of the enchantment magic being such a right? It's objects are holy in a way that and no other religion treats it. So it's going to be I think Ob 8 altogether.
Oof. All right. Well,
let's rustle up some dice.
Let's rustle out some dice. So ugly truth, because I said that their temple's going to get destroyed no matter what. So might as well,
It is a persuasion roll, and
right.
And you're ugly truth. Okay.
Right. But I'm forking in ugly truth.
Yep.
Just.
I figured that's what you're saying, but I just want to make
sure. Soothing platitudes for saying I know that this is hard. Let's see.
You got to do that good cop, bad cop routine if you have soothing platitudes and ugly truth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know that I have anything else, though. I don't think I particularly lied about anything.
No, I don't think you did.
Necessarily.
I don't think drama or court-wise or acting really makes sense here.
Man, only
that's not a whole lot.
Yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot here.
Joser can obviously help. What skill did you want to use there?
So you have 3 from faith. in there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's open-ended also.
I
Yeah,
could
I'm
see
wondering if I
oratory.
should. Yeah, I could see oratory or astrology. I'm just wondering whether I should actually buy into it or whether I should reserve so I can help Faith.
Hmm.
Da-da-da. Yeah, Thalia will fork in Ugly Truth. That'll
Oh, yeah.
be a thing. Yeah,
Okay, so I get 1 for her then.
one for her. Yep.
So I've got to 3.
I'm gonna have Sadiq step in and say, learn from the religion of Hagiel, my brothers. There have been many points in our history where we have had to, trying to think of a more fancy way of saying go with the flow.
To yellow it.
Yeah. To be flexible with our arrangements. Wandering as pilgrims is something that men of all religions must do at some point or another. The key is to be wandering in the desert for the right reasons. So he's going to do religious diatribe there for one die.
Yep. And I do want to I want to invest in this. I think Josa says, I once lost a city. I would not have it happen here. Ben Sadet was a treasured place. I would never see that happen again.
Small price to pay. All right,
May
sounds
one
good.
star
So,
fall that the constellation remains. And so he'll fork in astrology.
Okay. Yep.
How many help dice is that for
2.
astrology? 2. Okay, so I've
That's
got
2,
6.
yep.
So I got 6 total helping. Or no, is
Should
it
be more
not?
than that, yeah.
Because 3 for, you said 3 for Faith?
Yeah,
Is that
3
a-
Yep,
plus
3
3 for
for faith.
faith.
Okay, so I have 9 total then
That sounds right,
helping.
yeah.
And then it's open-ended?
It is automatically
Yep, so
open-ended.
click the star next to the skill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's that little
Then that'll automatically
star
open
next to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, 9. Okay. Base ob, 8. Let's see, do I want to throw in a persona while I'm at it? Sure, why not? I'll throw in a persona.
Do it.
Okay. 9. Persona. Base ob, 8. Oh!
Nice. Yeah, I got some good 6s in there that rerolled. Very fun. Okay, yeah, so I think there is a moment where like both of them seem choked up. Just like at the travesty of the whole situation, right? They're just like, this is such a special place to us. And you're asking, like, I think the man even says as much. He says, you're asking so much of us, you don't even know. But I can see in your eyes that you are telling the truth. And he grabs his sister's hand and squeezes and looks back and says, we will do as you ask, though we will weep as we do.
Yes.
All right, chop, chop, let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
Maya's entire demeanor just completely changes. Yeah. All right, now you've signed off.
Yeah, and Joseph bows his head and says, thank you. It means more than you know. Will you assist us in setting up this protection for Nesanher?
As our people say, if you begin to make a relic, There is no turning back.
Amen.
You have poured your soul into it, and to stop before it is completely finished would be to lose a part of your soul, no matter what. Might as well see it to the finish. See it completed. Done well. Done right. Cool.
Alrighty. What orb would you like?
Take your bajillion will dice. Let's see. Good question. So what are you trying to do here specifically? What is... Because it sounded like there were two parts to this, right? One was protection for Nessa and Hur, so that she can't be reincarnated. The other is a beacon that shows them that Nessa and Hur is here. Big shiny sign.
Yeah. Well, yeah, essentially a false front for Nessa and her that will, when it gets called down, will just blow them up instead.
Yeah, so then are these two separate things? Like, are you actually putting...
I don't think so.
Because I was going to say, you might want to, because there is still the... Because again, if something goes wrong here, and let's say it doesn't work, and Nema gets destroyed, then Nessa and Hur is still weak, still vulnerable, because then her people are dead, and she can be killed the normal way. Perma-killed from the god realm instead of down here. So this is a good plan, and if it works, then you won't have to worry about something else. But and I guess you could always just like wait until that happens and then step in. But
no, I might as well do it now. Well, I've got the priests here and everything. So
yeah, that's what I figured. Which would you like to do first?
Protection, please.
Cool. So this is probably just like consecration, right? You're consecrating Ness and Hur. So it'll be Ob 7 altogether with the increased Ob.
So I've got 2 from Thalia, presumably 2 each from the priests, the high priests.
Yes, yeah, they have faith.
How many will die worth?
Good question. Isn't there... I think there is a limit to this, too, so it might...
Yeah, there's the maximum you can get from will is 3. Yeah.
Okay, so if we assume like an average of 4, which I think, I mean, it might be like an average of 5, but it's probably an average of like 4.5 per person. The question is, yeah, I think if, we're considering Maya and Sadiq and all the priests, I think you have the max of 3.
Okay. 9 assists.
Yeah.
And then
Ob 7.
Ob 7. I won't do Arthur on this one.
Okay. Very good.
Fair few ones, but we did it.
Awesome. Yeah. So, you have... So, you tell me, Joser, this is you consecrating Ness and Hur herself from protection against interference by demons and things. So I think it's not going to be like it's not a permanent like protection from gods. Like if Seraphim himself came and tried to challenge her at some point, like he's not a god, or he's not a spirit lower than 7 or whatever, right? But that would open up him to her power as well. So that's typically not a thing that they do. So this is
if she is the goddess of enchanting, she's probably enchanted her own like personal realm with a bunch of traps and safeguards. Yeah. That's a bit different story.
The main thing this is doing is keeping the ritual by the priests of the Nakaim,
protecting her from outside influences.
Yeah, exactly. From outside influences that aren't the gods, a god themselves coming and attacking her. So if they wanted to escalate to that point, they could, but it's unlikely in your estimation. Sounds good. So then now to set up the beacon.
Yeah.
The question is, what is this? Because this is like Yeah, it doesn't really fit any of the other high obs. Because it's not purification, it's not consecration, it's not inspiration, it's not even intercession. I think especially because it has two parts to it, right? Like it's a beacon that draws them here and then an explosion when they all are here. I think it has to be a miracle. So, ob 11 total.
Excellent. Same Helpy Forks. But I will put 2 persona in it.
Here's where we cross our fingers.
Makes ob 11.
Whoa!
It's done.
I was definitely not expecting that one to succeed, but here we are. I figured that like there's no way after continuously getting all these successes that we carry it out all the way to the end, but here we are. Very good.
That is a relief.
Yeah, no, for sure. So tell me from Joser's perspective, what of this is Ness and Hur experiencing? Right? Like does Ness and Hur understand what's happening? What you're doing to protect her? Can she see it from her realm? Does she feel your touch? I mean, you succeeded with flying colors on all of this, so it's up to you. You could keep it in the dark.
Yeah, I think what she sees is initially she sees. I'm going to take a little bit of artistic license here. She sees what initially she thinks might be, in fact, an invasion from Argiel. Like she sees a whole bunch of like angelic figures just flying straight towards the realm. And then as they reach it, instead of trying to fly in, they all like turn and wheel and plant themselves. And there's like 3, it's almost like it's like the Roman turtle formation of like tower shields, just big wall. And then behind them, there are like a whole bunch of like archers just waiting for the shield to drop to fire a bolt of holy lightning and arrows down.
Very fun. Very fun. Here's a
question. This is almost him calling upon his angels.
Servants, yeah. Here's a question. I think we've gotten it confirmed at this point that the god, like, I don't know if there is as much of okay, here's the one I'm trying to say. I think the realms of the spiritual and the physical on this planet particularly are a little bit more blurred than other places, especially because we've seen that the dead gods are pretty much just literally on the other side of the planet, right? Joser and the other gods at one point lived on their Mount Olympus sun palace in your sun, right? Dardanus is probably literally in the sun. That's where he lives. I don't think that... I think the gods all kind of went their own ways after they don't live in on Mount Olympus anymore, right? Because that was Joser's good realm, and as soon as they kind of turned their back on the father, they all kind of started going their own ways. Where do the gods live? Like is Ness and Hur literally just up on a mountain nearby? Technically, there's still obviously like a weird like. Because I think the gods have some sort of like actual physical presence. It's not the same thing as being immortal like you are right now, but I think there is like a weird blending that happens where there are places on this planet that are. It's almost as if like if you climb the tallest mountain, you will actually reach the realm of the gods or something like that. Where is Ness and Hur right now? Like the god, there could be multiple gods, various different places, but I'm curious. Like, is she literally just in the mountains, like next to Nema?
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, like I'm thinking maybe like the tallest
or even,
peak of this mountain range.
Yeah, or even just like or like at one of the peak of the mountains, there's like a stairway if you went there, it would seem like enchanted boards that formed a staircase. And I think her official palace is just like in the air above the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you could see the spiritual realm, there is like a weird palace in the air.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there is obviously a difference. Like the Tartuans can't just march into the gods' realms physically, but there is this weird kind of like merging, where it's almost bleeds over into each other. Because if you do go to the dark side of the planet, like you will literally, you could just see a dead god. They're just walking around over there.
Yeah, it's a bit like the Narnian wardrobe where you can't go in there if you're wanting to. You have to kind of accidentally stumble in.
Yeah, but it is a physical place, I think.
Yeah.
In a sense. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, I was just thinking about that the other day. Cool. Yeah. So, this is happening. I mean, the thing is, like, Nessenhur is super struggle bussing right now, right? She is like trying to balance all of these powers that have been shoved on her and try to not be attacked. And so, yeah, there is a moment where like she's just like, all right, this is it. Like they're coming to get me. Like Hagiel just finally had enough. But then, yeah, you know, they're protecting her instead. And it's like for just a moment, she actually gets to relax a little bit from this heavy weight, because she not only has to balance the weight of these powers, but also keep herself defended against Seraphim. But for a moment, she just lets herself just like relax a little bit.
Like last time with, what's his name?
Hopseth.
I've forgotten. Hopseth, yeah. Where Hopseth kind of relaxed for that moment.
Yeah.
Only this time, it isn't met with a failing of the shield. It's genuinely she can take a weight off.
Yep. Yep. Love it. Cool. I mean, do we just like cut from that and Joser and Maya return to the apartment like tired and because I know Alpheus,
we did it, guys.
Avra,
we saved a god. It's all good. All in a day's work.
Yeah, at the very least, like, unless something goes terribly wrong, again, like, if the Tartuans come and they do this and it blows up in their face, and Seraphim might just be like, okay, all right, that's enough. I'm just gonna go attack her myself. In which case, I would make a bunch of rolls and we'd see what happened. But at the very least, Nessenhur will not be murdered by Beirut with this spear. You've put the defenses in motion to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah. So I'm thinking like Avra and Alpheus are just like. Maybe Alpheus was over at the palace with Spiridon at some point. Doing stuff, but I think he's come back, and we can do Avra stuff too, but I think maybe we can start with Alpheus going to Joser and hashing out his stuff with him.
Yeah, I don't imagine it taking very long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot of people who need to have conversations with Joser, so I figure we do it. So yeah, what do you say, Alpheus?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. Are they back yet?
Yeah, I was just describing that I think they returned tired and weary from all their preparations.
Oh, so now I'm going to have to feel bad about talking to him. So where is he at? Like, in the living room or what?
This is like a really small apartment you guys are in, so it's like almost like maybe 1 or 2 rooms. So
yeah, I think the thing with Joser is, because he's so strange, like he almost seems invigorated by this. He comes in looking like he's still got some of the glow about him, and he's like just skips into the room, says, "It was a very sunny day."
And the weird sun is still in front of the other sun, so that's
I could feel it even through the other dumb sun.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just walk up to Joser and say, Joser, we haven't really talked, but can I talk to you about something?
Absolutely. I would be happy to.
Okay, so something's been bothering
me. Mm-hmm. Yes. There are often many things that bother people.
Okay, but you have to help me with this. Or I don't know who else to talk to about it.
If you delay any longer, I will ask the sun what you want to talk to me about.
Okay, well, I feel, and I say feel because I'm really not sure, that everything that's going wrong with Sinia, I mean, even Ophelia and and Ben, basically every bad thing that's happened recently, I helped put into place, and I don't know how to feel about that because I'm not trying to do anything wrong, but that my actions have always end up having terrible consequences.
That is a very apt observance. That does tend to happen.
So it's true then. So I'm terrible.
I did not say that. I said that your actions tend to have horrible consequences. Very different things.
But why? Why, when I try to do good, something bad always happens?
Have you ever heard the story of the man and the rock?
No.
Fair enough. It died out ages ago. You probably wouldn't have heard it anyway. There's a story about the man and the rock. A man was walking along the road one day, and he saw a rock. It was a middle-sized rock, not humongous, and he kicked it for no reason other than he felt like kicking. He broke his toe. Very poor way of doing things.
His name was
But
Viggo Mortensen.
But the rock did move, which was a little bit of unease to his conscience. He left and returned the next day and found another man. He had a very large cart with many wares. He was a merchant of sorts, and he was the cart was broken. You see, the rock that the man had kicked was in the right position because of that it had broken one of the wheels of the wagon.
Okay.
A terrible consequence to an action. Do you understand?
Yeah, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not kicking rocks.
Correct. No.
And it's not just a wagon. It's the whole world is falling apart.
Correct.
At least that's how I feel. That's what I'm observing. And
do you want me to tell you more of the story? There's more steps.
Okay.
You see, the man was a carpenter. And the man who had his cart broken, well, he needed a wheel. And the man did such a fine job at making that wheel that the merchant hired him on permanently. The man had done something with grave consequences to himself and grave consequences to others, but ultimately there was benefit to it, although in a very odd and happenstance way. Your responsibility is for your own intent, my friend. You should always be desiring to do good. There is certain elements to which I would disagree with your course of action. For instance, for all the good you would attempt to do, arranging for someone's death is never usually the right way to go about it. However, ultimately, everything has its purpose. Even your actions.
I understand. I do. I
Do
understand.
you think it would have been easy to travel through Kairodes if you hadn't been under the protection of Titan?
No.
Do you think it would have been easy to leave Kairodes if you weren't under the protection of Spiridon?
No. I'll obviously not.
And why were you under the protection of Titan? Because you made a terrible choice.
Yeah. That's
There
true.
are reasons for things, my friend. Some of them are less obvious than others. But eventually they will have their way. But I guess my question is, my friend, what is it you would like me to do? Placate you with soothing platitudes? Or would you like me... What is it you would exactly have me do? Give you a task to redeem your soul? What?
Well, now what I'm thinking is what you've said makes sense. When I've tried to do good, the consequences are not necessarily my fault or my responsibility. However, you're right about me making the wrong decision often or to great extents at times. And I don't know. I know that Maya forgave me for what happened to Ben. And I think Avra's forgiven me for what I put into place with her father. And even though I believe that, I still feel a great burden. And I don't know what to do about it.
I think you have been working with your tongue for too long. It is sharp, but it is not exactly rewarding. There is something about working with your hands, putting in active struggle that tempers a man. It is easier to feel like you have done a good day's work. I have a task for you that I think you should be able to achieve and will get those hands to work.
What is it?
I require you to make me a fine dagger.
A dagger.
A dagger, yes, but a fine one. I don't want any of this mundane, run-of-the-mill weapon. And I need it different to the regular blades. It needs to be able to be fine, manipulative, be able to use it as a scalpel as well as a weapon. A blade should be able to heal as well as it wounds.
Outside of character, didn't I used to make weapons?
You literally
Wasn't I
have
an
the blacksmith
apprentice?
skill, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I couldn't
We've
find it on
never
my sheet.
once rolled it.
Ever.
Your actions, Alpheus, do often wound, but they can also be used to heal.
Oh, sorry, you have weaponsmith, not
Weaponsmith.
blacksmith. Yeah.
I used to make weapons, Joser. Did you know that?
I am a man of mystery.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
So people tell me, but I haven't been able to determine it yet.
I'll make you a dagger. It'll be a fine dagger.
Excellent.
Although I'm kind of rusty, I might have to try a couple times.
Absolutely.
But I'll do it. And we'll see.
There's a place of enchanting. I'm sure there are many forges nearby.
I don't know how building you a dagger is going to help me feel better, but I'm going to do it and we'll see what happens.
Such an Alpheus thing to say.
Mm-hmm. It is a symbol, my friend.
Give me some time and I'll present you with this dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Joser.
Yeah, and he'll actually give you a piece of paper that has a design on it that he wants on the hilt.
Okay, sweet. So can I just? Do I have anything else to do, or can I just leave and go? Be like, man, how am I gonna make this thing? And start it.
Mhm.
All right. So I leave and find a little. I guess.
Yes.
Can I just say there's a workspace behind this apartment or
Well,
whatever?
that's a circles test, I think.
Okay.
Right. You could find someone who would let you borrow their space, right? With a circles test.
I can go to the local. I want to find a local blacksmith.
Mm-hmm. It would
How do
certainly
I-
be easy to do that and find someone who would let you pay to use their forge. It would be a harder circles test to like find someone who's willing to just let you do it for
So
free.
can I roll? Can I roll? Find a weaponsmith, and then roll persuade them to let me use their
Mhm.
area for free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I want to do.
I think. So I don't think weaponsmith is a broad occupation. That would be a blacksmith.
Oh well,
So
I'll roll to find a blacksmith. Yeah.
No.
If I need
I'm looking at the obs here.
Oh, I see.
That's like the one. If it was a blacksmith you're trying to find, it's just an ob 1 test, right? I think this is going to be an ob 3 test, and this will specifically be like someone who is already amiable to let you use it.
Okay.
But then you can either just pay him or make a persuasion test or something.
Okay. But I only have 2 circles,
Yes, that is an issue.
so that's fine. I'll just roll it. And what can I use?
Because
can't
Jason's
spend
all
persona on
about
it.
anticipation wise, could I like assist him?
Yeah, with
But,
the
like,
anticipation wise,
conveniently
link
pushing-
test, but
Yeah, well, help with circles as well, but
I see. Yeah.
yeah, because Joseph would be like, yes, conveniently, I knew this was going to happen.
Right. Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
being on the serious.
Can I fork in pound wise because I know
So
where a
you can't
blacksmith would be?
fork into
Oh.
circles, but you can make link tests with those skills if you'd
But
like.
that
where you
wouldn't
can-
really help me, right? Just
Probably
only
not.
2.
You only have a 2 in it. Yeah, so you'd probably fail and then make it
Okay.
harder.
So do I have any reputations?
You do not currently because you've kind of been separate
I
from
used
Sinia
to.
for a while. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So 0.
So Joser is helping you with circles.
Does
Does
that go on Artha dice or
No,
is there
that will
another
be a
category?
1 advantage on
Okay.
the first thing. Yeah.
So can I use persona?
You can spend up to 3.
I'll
You
use
have
2.
13 of them.
Yeah, I'm
so,
used to 2.
Sounds good.
Base ob 3. I didn't see any helps though, so maybe I'm not doing this
Go
right.
ahead and cancel. Just cancel it and do it again. It should be the first one.
Oh. So 1.
Yep.
2. Base
And
ob
then
3.
op 3. Yep. Hey, nice.
I got it.
Yeah, and you can mark that. Well, you didn't need a difficult. You just actually need a routine at this point. But oh well. All right, cool.
Or circles.
Yeah.
Difficult. Okay.
Okay. Yes. So, I mean, you got a 4. I think you can just. I don't think you have to roll.
Okay.
Right. Like you just have circled up the right person. Joser, you tell us, why is this person just okay with Alpheus using his forge? Because of your weird, mysterious. You looked into the future and saw all the threads that led up to this moment.
Yeah. I think actually let me check my stuff. I don't have my what's his name, surgeon anymore. Else I'd totally do that. But yeah, I think it's like Joseph was just walking by on his way home and like healed the sick daughter or something random. It's like, oh yeah, I'll have someone by to use your forge later. Boop.
Right. He's like, what can I ever do to repay you? Yeah. And you're just like,
There'll be a guy. He needs
you
some
will meet
stuff.
a mysterious man. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Very fun.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. So Alpheus, let's make that roll, shall we?
All right. So I head over there, ask the guy. It's like, yeah. He doesn't. Does he tell me like, oh, someone told me you were coming?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's literally like
And I'm like,
of course, Alpheus. Yes, I've been waiting for you.
I was like, okay, thanks.
Yeah. The forge is all prepared for your work.
And then I'm just gonna. So I want to roll. Well, what's the ob if I just make like a satisfactory dagger? Because I kind of want to make a good one.
I looked up the obs for this. It's an ob 1 to just make a knife, right? It is an ob. You add +2 ob if you're trying to make a superior quality weapon.
Okay.
Which I think is what Joser asked is basically to make a high quality dagger. So it's an ob 3 altogether.
Okay.
Weaponsmith test.
So I want to roll. Okay. So I want to use. I just used 2 persona. So I want to use. Can I use 3 persona?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can use up to 3 on a single roll. Yeah.
And I have nothing else to help me. So.
Yeah, I think I'll check on mending, but
mending isn't listed as an automatic fork on weaponsmith. I don't think what he's doing here, mending is going to help. This is like an artist at work, and mending is like a peasant handyman skill. Yeah, I'm thinking it's just a weaponsmith roll plus your Artha.
Okay. Oh, whoops! I put
because he did get over the ob with circles. Could the smith dude help him?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can take 1 help die from him. Yeah.
Okay.
Technically, we could also name this random NPC. Have Craig the blacksmith as a contact.
Yep. I barely got it.
The first time rolling weaponsmith. I literally forgot for a while that Alpheus ever had.
Yeah, that's why I asked. I was like, wait, didn't I used to be a blacksmith?
Yep.
And you can mark cool, difficult.
Is that difficult?
Difficult, yep. Yeah, and so this takes a little while, so I think we can cut away from Alpheus for a bit here. And Avra, you wanted to also talk to Joser? So maybe it's like literally like as Alpheus leaves to go undergo his quest, Avra is just like, Joser, I also wanted to talk to you. Does that make sense,
yeah.
Carlos? Yeah.
Very
fun. What do you say?
I've literally not thought about this conversation at all, and been dealing with Finn this whole time.
Yeah. So basically, Joser's been really cheeky about acting like he knows about Alikos and like making a bunch of random comments about him. So.
Yeah, she just probably, she says, like, you mentioned my former bird in our previous conversation. What did you mean by all of that? And I don't even remember, like, specifically what he had said, so.
Oh, yes. Yes, I asked if he had served you well. Well, the meaning of that was I was curious as to whether he had served you well.
I understand that, but you brought him up in a conversation that was not about him at all, so it threw me off.
It was related. We were talking about Ophelia, and Skion is related to Ophelia, and Alikos is related to Skion. So it's connected. Vaguely. Close enough for my book.
Okay. I don't even know what to say at this point. This is just awkward.
Yeah, I'm being difficult trying to get you to make a roll.
Caleb, I think you're muted or something.
So if Avra wanted to get this out of him, what avenue would she take according to her skills here?
Well, I don't know, because based on what he's telling me, she would just be like, oh, well, okay, he's just weird.
I'm just thinking too much about it, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, she wouldn't think to like make a roll about it, but
I think Joseph will say, "I was just inquiring after an old friend. It wasn't too. Although I do want to get in touch with him again. It's been too long."
Again?
Yes, told you, an old friend.
How?
Technically, I am his boss. Technically. Why do you think there is a tradition for the ladies of Sinia to have birds on their shoulder?
Avra, I want you to make a roll here. I want you to make a doctrine roll.
Yeah.
I think the things that Joser has been saying could trigger your knowledge of doctrine and the history of Sinia and how it all weaves together, and make you think of something. Let me see what doctrine is notoriously unhelpful with its obs that it lists. It's just like
I'm assuming I could fork in falconry.
Personally, I would think definitely etiquette because it's related to the etiquette. Noble wise because that's who have the birds. Possibly heraldry.
Yeah, it's heraldry. I think. I think animal husbandry, not
Okay.
falconry. Yeah, one of those. But falconry is usually like the doing the thing as opposed to knowing the thing. So
Okay.
I don't know that it ever became actual law that you had to have a bird, but that'd be fun.
Yeah. Trying to think of the ob here. Like the doctrine only goes up to ob 3, naming an obscure saint. I think it's higher than that. Let's make it ob 4 doctrine.
Dang it.
You got a 6, so you can spend 1 or 2 fate if you'd like.
I have a bunch now. Oh, I only have 4. Oh, did I never update that? Oh, dang. I don't remember if I updated that from last session. No, I think I did because I got persona, not fate, last session. Yeah, I'll spend 1.
1, okay.
What's the remaining ob?
1.
1.
So it's a coin flip.
Dang it.
You just rolled tails. Okay, so Avra, it's escaping her. There's something in the tip of your, like on the edge of your brain, that's bothering you about the things that Joser's saying, but nothing's coming to mind, to like clinch it for you.
Yeah, she just kind of like realizes that she doesn't really know, and it's like, I guess I never thought about it that much.
Yeah, I kind of wish I'd helped her with it now.
Oh yeah, probably could have.
I'm trying to think whether Joseph would just tell her at this point.
Yeah, it's one of those things though. It's like where if you just tell her, it kind of invalidates she even made a roll in the first place, right? Yeah. Just go ahead and give her the helping die. I think we can just that's more interesting mechanically to have it work that way. And
so it would be 2 dice, but they would be astrology dice. So I think they open end both ways. So that'll make it really interesting. So there you go.
Here, I'll just do this for you, Carls. I'll roll it like this, just so we can see it. Oof.
Wow.
Good.
Would have made it worse.
Yeah, and that's okay. Well, you didn't lose successes, but fate is not helping you. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think like because I think the answer I think her failing here means that Joseph doesn't tell her, because that means the roll actually mattered, right? What would be the reason Joseph wouldn't tell her? Or it'd keep obfuscating and make her roll something else?
I think Joseph says there have been reasons for many things, great many things in Sinia's history. A lot of those were orchestrated by the Erda. Perhaps you should check it again.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You do have an instinct for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's more dramatic if she reads it from the Irida anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Only issue there is that she did just fail a doctrine test. I don't know if it's enough of a situation change for her to just roll another doctrine. It's one of these weird things where, like, in a book, Joseph would just tell her. But because we're playing a role-playing game and we have mechanics tied to this whole thing, it leads into this kind of weird back and forth. Because, like, let's think about this. If she fails this, if she fails to read it from the Irida, what would Joster do? Would she just be like, "Oh, okay, the Irida decided not to tell her, and I won't tell her either"?
Yeah, I think because he trusts the
your past self.
Yeah, he trusts his past self to, and like the things like a lot of the thing of the Eridors, it's like it's not meant to function for the person unless it's like the right person, essentially. And there's still a little bit in Joseph's head that she's not the prophet king. She is a prophetess, but she's not the prophet king, and therefore
there are some things that should be closed off to her still. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm wondering if, like, as part of the failure of her doctrine there, because maybe we have her roll heraldry as the base skill instead. So mainly just because having her roll doctrine twice in a row and the last one being she just gets extra dice because she's also doing read just seems sort of cheap and weird. So I think this will be harder for Avra to pull off, but she could if she's clever enough about it.
Yeah, I think I would still allow her to fork doctrine in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yep.
But she has to go at it from a different avenue than she did before. So what does heraldry usually have here for? Common prominent family, Ob 1. Secondary families, Ob 2. Lesser known cousins, Ob 3. Deadlines or remote branches, Ob 4. Obscure houses, Ob 5. What do you think, Josh, given your knowledge of what this whole thing is? What does that count as if this is a heraldry role? Right? She's probably literally at this point, because the heraldry symbols in the Irida are very prominent. So this is Avra, like probably one of the minor nobility houses or something, right? Had something about birds that was more prominent than any of the others, and has a secret there that would unlock this for her. Is it like lesser known cousins?
I think narratively, what she's kind of said is like on the tip of her tongue. So it's obviously not something super obscure.
Yeah.
So I think probably lesser known cousins makes sense.
Okay. Yep. So Ob 3 heraldry, Avra. You can fork in doctrine, etiquette, falconry, noble wise, and read. And then Joser, did you want to help her or refrain from helping her?
Why can't I fork in falconry this time and I couldn't last time?
Well, you forked in. I gave you animal husbandry. It's one of those. Honestly, what probably is it would have been affinity for birds. That's what it would have been. Your trait is the thing giving you the die. There was a die there because of Avra being a bird person. But animal husbandry and falconry are like doing skills, not like knowledge skills. So last time and this time, the die is affinity for birds that you're getting.
Yep.
Yeah. So is Joster helping with this?
Yes, he will. Hang on. In fact, where is it? Got the wrong sheet open. I've got Avra's sheet instead of Jason. In fact, actually, do that thing. Do. Yeah, Joseral Forkin Doctrine.
Okay.
And I think Thalia will help with obscure history.
Okay.
Because it's maybe
Fair
a little
enough.
bit obscure.
And Thalia was probably directly responsible for
implementing
part
it.
of this. Yeah.
She turned up with a bird on her arm.
So that's 3 more dice? Or just 2 more dice?
Just 2, 1 from each of us.
Okay. All right, Ob 3, Avra. If you fail this, the Fates do not want you to know. I have a good idea of what the directions should be, whether or not you succeed or fail here. So. Nice. That was good. That was a good roll. You had the same amount of dice. But a lot more successes. Cool. So, trying to think of what is the piece that she finds. It's probably like in one of the symbols of the houses or whatever. But what does that mean in terms of? It's probably one of the original families, right? Their heraldry has changed over time, but they've always had a bird, like prominently characterized in their symbology. But you remember a obscure, like ancient version of the heraldry of that house that had like kind of a weird iconography that no one really ever understood. At least maybe they did back then, obviously, but like that modern historians or heraldic enthusiasts wouldn't understand. But it was a bird, right? But the bird was on fire, right? And for us as like moderns, us as like 21st century Americans, we would automatically recognize it as a phoenix. That's like the figure being shown there. But like Avra with her failed roll from earlier, didn't necessarily have the context to like. It's not like, I don't know if there's like a whole bunch of phoenix mythology in the religion per se. But I'm trying to think of the thing that keys her onto it from there. That's the piece that she sees that starts her down the rabbit trail with the Irida to find out the secret. But do you have an idea, Josh, what the trail is that she follows?
Yeah, there is very little in Pyrusian theology about them, and there is much more in other doctrines.
Yes.
Yeah.
In which case, I mean, it is the Irida, so she could just like see the future.
Or I think also just things that we've recently said. Like you probably read that that this the family line that this is part of was like the line of the closest bodyguard to the first queen. And it went down from there. And you also would recall things that Thalia said previously about like the first queen bore the Irida, and probably heard something when we were in the corner talking about, you realize that these people are like your great 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 grandchildren kind of thing. So yeah, there's like a whole bunch of things that kind of clue you in. First of all, to Thalia being the first queen, the one that came to bear the Irida.
Irida in the first place. Yeah. So that story of Carly of the witch coming to and bringing the Irida and then burning part of it when the king didn't want it, and then finally accepting it. That myth has gotten completely turned on its head multiple times since the truth of it happened in history. And the truth of it is Thalia, the goddess Amt, incarnated as a person, came to Sinia, into the first king, with the Irida. Did the burning stuff happen and stuff, but she wasn't a witch. She was like an oracle of Hagiel. And the king ended up accepting the wisdom, and not only that, but marrying her, right? And bearing her children. You're directly related to a goddess, right? So not only like Ben is not just he was already a demigod from Maya's side of the family, not even just with Pyrrhus, right? With Malekith. So that's one thing you get clued on to. But the more important thing to like the thing you're specifically trying to find out is, we probably see Thalia /Amt / Sibylla, which was the name she went by when she became the queen. That's her historical name. She had a bird on her arm, right, when she came to Sinia. And there were stories in the heraldry, in the heraldic symbols, because every once in a while someone would see the bird and they weren't quite entirely sure if it was happening or illusion or whatever. The bird would set itself on fire and die and then be reborn. It was like this weird like rumor that went around that like it may have been even twisted at one point where it's like Sibylla was burning birds or something, right? But in reality, the first bird she had was like something more than just a bird, right? And whether or not, I think the thing you see throughout the heraldry and throughout the doctrine and throughout the history as you're tracing this through the Irida is not that like all the birds in Sinia are secretly phoenixes or whatever, right? But rather that in a similar way to the way that the Jinn take animal forms, the servants of Hagiel at times take the form of a bird. And Alikos just happened to be one of those servants. So Alikos was an angel all along.
Dope.
And Alikos, there's a couple things that maybe are questions that you have that you get immediately answered by the Irida. One being, Alikos never seemed very intelligent. Like he seemed like intelligent for a bird, but that's about it. And there is a sense in which the world is so corrupted that it did indeed make it hard for the Malavine taking this form to think straight, right? They were, the intelligence was actually limited to not quite a bird, but like just above, right? And so, he was sentient, but like certainly muddled. Like there's like this oppression on his mind that was making it hard for him to be as articulate as he could have been if he was like in the sun, right? As like a Phoenix Angel thing. But Alikos is currently dead, right? But as an angel, he could be returned, right? He's currently trapped in Tartuit. And Skion, we actually, you see a vision of Skion flying back to you guys. And you can already see the conversation in the future that you're going to have with Skion where he tells you as much, right? Where it's like, I know Joser would want me to tell you this. Like, I know Hagiel would want me to tell you this, and we're working together now. So like, I was going to tell you this. I talked to Alikos, right? And so this connection you're having with Ophelia right now, Ophelia is going to give you information from her side, but the thing that that you can help Ophelia with is getting Alikos back, right? So yeah. Anything you would like to add to that, Josh?
Nope, that's all good.
Cool. Did you have any other questions, Carly?
I feel like she should, but I don't know what they'd be.
It's all right. I'm feeling it. I'm so tired right now too.
Yeah.
Long day.
Yeah.
Because one of my questions for you would be, what you're going to do with Balthazar, right? If you had failed this role and we had like cut off possibility of you knowing this about Alikos, I was just going to go whole hog into, okay, that's fine. Alikos is gone. Like, he's not going to be your bird again. Let's focus on Balthazar and just like get a new bird friend. Or maybe you would get like Skion would be able to be redeemed and come to your side or something like that, right? But I think because you know now, we can set in motion the quest to get Alikos back. We can figure out what that looks like next time, obviously. But what do you think about Balthazar now? Like, where do you, what would Avra think about that, given her knowledge?
That's a good question.
Because I mean, it's not that you can't have multiple birds, right?
Yeah. But if she could choose, she'd probably rather have Alikos back than to try to form a brand new bond with this bird that doesn't seem too fond of her, even though it's stuck around thus far. But
I could also see a future where Avra has like Skion, Alikos, and like a bunch of other normal birds, and she just ends up with a big aviary full of them. We don't necessarily have to just like kick out Balthazar, but we also don't have to spend more energy on him if we don't want to.
Well, I mean, yeah, she might legitimately just be like, well, if we're actually going to save Sinia, and I'm actually going to have a place there as like head of a new falconry club and can like lean into that role even more, then maybe she would legitimately just like build up a whole aviary of like these birds that she can continue to train and like teach other people with and stuff.
Yeah, because that seems like the thing that Avra cares about the most, both in and out of character. Like, it seems like that's what Avra's focused on, skill-wise and stuff.
She would be like wanting to get Alikos back more as her companion than anything. But also as a bird that was just legitimately great, like with working with her in falconry competitions. But then, yeah, I think she'd want to keep persuading Balthazar so that she had another bird that she could continue to train and stuff.
Yep, makes sense to me. Cool. I'm about it. Yeah, I came up with that a little while ago, and I was like, that fits so well with like the parallelism of like, the djinn can take animal form, but also the birds are also an important thing, and maybe they are also angels or whatever. Yeah, some sort of spiritual being. So I guess the last piece of it that gets revealed to you is Skion isn't a djinn. He's actually a fallen angel. Right? He's like, that's why he's a bird, right? He's the only bird that we've seen from Ophelia's cult. And that's because he isn't a Tannerin. He's not one of the rock golems. He was originally a phoenix in the sun, right? With Hagiel, and turned to the dead gods, right? So that's why he's now a raven. Yep. Cool. What else did we want to cover this session? Several things that we could jump to. Up to you guys.
Well, could I work towards my Ophelia goal and just link it to what we just did? Obviously, I have to make another roll of some kind, but
yeah. All right, so I believe with the help of Irida and Ophelia, I can stop what is coming. I will be in communication with Ophelia as to how to save Sinia. Yeah, so my idea was that Skion was going to get into contact with Ophelia and then fly back, and he was giving her the thing that was going to allow you to have like a connection to her. Was there going to be some sort of role we needed to make there, or did Joser making the herbalism role, that was the role that made it possible to work? Like, was it a given that it was just going to work from the role we made there? Do you remember?
I had assumed that it was a given, but I don't know that we ever actually established it. So.
That's fine with me. I just want to make sure if we had an idea about it, that we stick with it. Continuity wise. Yeah, so I think Avra's like processing all of this, right? She's thinking through everything that's happening. And then you hear Ophelia's voice in your mind. I think even before, because like Skion wouldn't be getting back before Ophelia would be able to contact you, right? Because she just has to take the stuff, and there you go. So you hear Ophelia's voice in your mind, and I'm trying to think of what would be the first thing Ophelia would say to you. She's obviously.
I mean, the last time we saw each other, she tried to kill me, right?
I know. But like, Ophelia's not the sort of person who apologizes, right?
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Even if she knows that, she knows
exactly.
that.
Okay, this is what she says. She says, "I hate Cyrillus, don't you?" He just hears this like clear as day in your mind.
Yeah. What was my last memory of Cyrillus also him trying to kill me?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
Not him trying to kill you, but he like was taking over the palace and making everybody go mad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like right before that, you had just had a whole like conversation with him where he was like acting totally like he didn't care at all about your situation and what you were coming to him with. I can't remember what specifically it was, but like he was obviously something that happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah, she just says agreed.
Yeah, I mean, you had to deal with the disease as well, which was a direct, like you would have 100% known was from Cyrillus too.
Yeah,
so.
Yep. I think she says, oh man, I had a line and then it just flew away like a bird into Tartuit. Because she was like, I hate Cyrillus, don't you? And then he said, agreed. Well, can we agree to blame him for everything that happened in Sinia? Well, okay, most of what happened in Sinia.
No.
A bit of what happened in Sinia.
Certainly a portion of it.
I missed you, Avra.
Fortunately, how she'd be dead with a knife in
it.
I think Avra just says, to be completely honest, I'm not sure I can say the same.
I know. Part of me wishes you could be here with me now. But...
Dead.
Yeah. Yes. But that was before. That was before I learned that death is a sham. Did you know that, Avra? Death isn't death. It's just another prison. One I intend to break free from. I talked with a friend of yours.
Yeah, she just asked Alikos.
Yes. I always wondered about them. Which one was the spy? Of course it would be Alikos. It makes sense. But they do such a good job of hiding it. Not like the djinn. Avra, I don't know what to do. I'm alone here. I need you. I need someone who isn't dead. I can't trust my mind anymore. In a funny sort of way, getting free from Cyrilus's madness only made me doubt my own sanity even more. Because once you are in the throes of madness, how can you ever trust that anything is true ever again? Even if it feels like it is. What if my brain is just lying to me again? So that's why I need to hear your voice. I need you to tell me that I'm not imagining this. I need you to tell me that I can come back.
Yeah, I think Average says, I don't know how to do that.
They're simple words, Avra. I just need...
No, she meant like, I don't know if I can actually help you accomplish that. Like,
No, I know. And whether or not Ophelia knows, she is saying those. Yeah, that's how she responds. She's acting as if you're saying, like maybe you don't want her to come back, and you're like shying away from it, right? There's like a note of desperation in her voice, where she's just like, "Please, please, I don't want to be alone. I need you to like." And when she says "come back," like she not only is saying come back from the dark side of the planet, but like come back into sanity, come back from evil, like there's so many metaphysical assumptions bound, or metaphorical assumptions like bound up into that one phrase.
Yeah, I think Average just says, I can't promise you anything, Ophelia, but the one thing I can tell you is that while you might need someone that's alive right now, we need someone that's dead. Meaning like we need you to help us recover Sinia.
Yeah. And if like if this was an anime, we would see like an arrow.
I think this would be like an ugly truth or something with like, I don't like, I'm admitting to you that I would not have tried to contact you if I didn't think that it was my only hope.
Just like snap out of it, Ophelia. Bigger things are at stake here. Yeah.
Like she's not outright saying like, I would never consider helping you, but she's saying the reason I'm here is because we need your help first.
Yeah. If we were seeing her side, like if you were actually able to see her right now, you would see like a physical wince when you say those words, right?
Mm-hmm.
And remind me, we've gotten far. What was the last thing you said? Oh, we need someone who's dead. We need someone who's dead. Yeah. And she like physically winces and then says, so you're just like father then? You just want to keep me in a cage until I'm no longer useful to you? You have to understand, Ever, I can't do that again. I can't live like that again. I'm in front of a mountain right now. And she means metaphorically, not literally. I don't know how I can get to the top. But I'm being told I have to climb anyway. Is it going to be worth it? Is there actually hope for me, Avra?
Trying to think of what she would say, because
And you could double down on the ugly truth here and then make a roll, right? That's one avenue. Or you could pivot to soothing platitudes, right?
Yeah, I think ugly truth is the way to go here, because I'm thinking like me as a player, but also Abra as a character are just kind of like Abra never got the chance to know Ophelia as anything other than untrustworthy and evil. So even if like whether that's their father's fault or not, like that's just how it is, and Abra has no reason to think, like no proof to know that this is like a genuine like plea, like a genuine like repentance kind of thing. Because like even before Cyrilus's madness, like Ophelia was not right in the head. So
yeah, very true. I think she's always had the lunatic trait on her character sheet. So
yeah.
All right, yeah. What's the thing you say then? That's an ugly truth.
Yeah, and you could if you do something like let's save the world before we start talking about living in it, you could at least leave the door open enough so that you can fork in soothing platitudes.
Yeah.
Well, so she doesn't have the skill.
Oh, right,
true,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But link test you could. So
yeah, technically you could.
Yeah.
But yeah, it depends on what you say here. That's going to be the ob of the ugly truth, right? How you're framing it, and whether or not she'll believe the framing.
Yeah. So I think what she says is, like, whether it's our father's fault or not, that I never got to know you as anything other than out of your mind and untrustworthy. Whether it's his fault or not, that's the reality. And if you can help us save Sinia, give us a reason to even think that there's something in you that's still worth saving, then I can try to figure out how to do that. But Sinia comes first.
All right, yeah, this could majorly backfire, or it could be the thing that she needs. I don't know. Is it the ugly truth about family? Yeah, I think it is. Ob 2, ugly truth about family.
Okay. Oh, and I can't fork stuff in, right?
You can't fork. If you would like to make a linked test with like oratory or soothing platitudes or something that you can make an argument for that you said there, you could do that technically, but that is a chance of failure. So, Heels of Artha.
Yep, definitely gonna spend some of that.
Yep. As of right now, just rolling it as is, you can technically succeed. You'll be rolling 4 dice against 4 ob when it doubles, but yeah.
I mean, I argue oratory could help this because
Yeah, you were making
an argument for sure.
you're orating at her. So I would say make an oratory test, ob 2 as a link
Okay.
test. If you get a 2, nothing happens. If you get a 3, you get a die. If you get 1 or lower, then you get an increased ob. Hey, there you go. All right. So you can add a die to this one. Would you like to make a similar link test with something else, or is that it?
I don't know if anything else would.
You could do noble wise, but you only have 3 dice in that one.
Nah.
Okay. Any Artha?
Yes.
Yeah, so go ahead and just click on Ugly Truth. Put 1 in for help. And then however many persona you'd like to spend, and then ob 2. Nice. That was a good roll. Yeah. Ophelia just cries. And at first, it's a very angry cry, right? She starts lashing out at you. She says, "What do you mean Sinia is more important? I'm your sister, Avra. I used to be everything to you. Do you remember? Do you remember when we played together?" And like she's idealizing your childhood together. You were never that close. And she starts rambling a little bit, and you can tell she's like gritting her teeth and crying. And she says, Tell him to get out of my head. And suddenly, Joser, you're actually aware of this conversation. Because as a reminder, what she's doing here is she's connecting herself to like the good side of things in the same way that someone would connect herself to the bad side of things from here with the Black Orchids. And she doesn't necessarily say anything more to you, Joser, but you just are suddenly aware that this is happening and you feel this presence. And you can tell that she's like reacting to this, like having taken this white lily and like having this like harmonic magic working on her soul, right? And she's not liking it. And then she says to you, Avra, she says, all I want you to say, Avra, is that I'm not. And you could tell both of those sentences she tried to start were excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And she realizes that they were and stops them. Stop saying them because she knows you'll see right through it. She maybe tries a couple more broken sentences like that. Eventually just breaks down into sobs. We get a shot of her laying in like the black sand of the wasteland of Tartuit. Crushing black sand in her fists and yelling and screaming and throwing the sand. Skion is like hopping nervously next to her. And we see a young man with black feathery wings sprouting from his back, just sitting or standing, looking down at the sand, not meeting Ophelia's gaze. And then Ophelia slowly, her sobs lessen. And she just says, "Yeah, I don't deserve it, do I?"
Hello, Ophelia. Welcome to the family.
I told you to get out of my head. It's them all over again. The gods that can't be trusted. None of them. It's just me.
Can Abra hear Joser too, or just Ophelia?
I think so. I guess if Joser wants you to, at least.
Yeah. Talk to Alikos. He will tell you all you need to know about me.
I can't trust that I'll be hearing him, though. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know if I can trust my own senses, my own mind. I can feel the god of madness worming his way into my brain still. I'm trying, but I don't know. I feel him in you too, Avra. His touch. It's everywhere. It's corrupting all of us. Wish I killed Cyrillus when I had the chance. And this is all still part of your success. So like whatever you say will get through to her. There's probably like a moment here where maybe Avra says something that will kind of snap her back. Because like right now she like her biggest thing. She understands. Like you got her to that ugly truth place of like understanding. That like you don't owe her any sort of like platitude, right?
Mhm.
And Sinia is more important. But now she's just like, that doesn't give me any motivation to keep going forward because I can't trust my own senses. I went mad earlier. I still don't know if I am mad. Like, how do I move forward when I don't even know if I'll be redeemed by the end of this, right?
I just read a chapter of The Way of Kings today, and so my initial thought was Journey Before Destination.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which is like essentially like she's not going to be so eloquent about it, but I think she'll essentially say something along those lines of like, well, maybe it's not about being redeemed yourself. Maybe it's about redeeming something else. Like, and if you can help us save Sinia, then we will work for your redemption as well. Like the helping us save Sinia will be a step towards your redemption.
Mm. Trying to think. Because I'm thinking right now, Josh, of the thing we talked about earlier, in our solo session, the particular goddess that might be of use in this situation. I think would Joser clinch this by mentioning her? I think that might be a good angle to take at this point because like if like her issue is like I can't trust myself, I don't know how I can go forward when there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I think it would be kind of fun if Joser was like, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. She's actually there right now.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds to me, Ophelia, that you are in need of redemption. Fortunately, she is right nearby.
You see Ophelia blink. You mean whatever her name is? I'm trying to look it up again. You mean Mairi? She is dead. How can redemption
She is
come
in
from a
need of
corpse?
her own redemption. But what perfect way? Redemption has never come from a place of perfection. You have to first fall before you can be redeemed.
Yeah. And suddenly there's like Ophelia's face has a weird look of like arrogance about it, where she realizes like, it would be confidence, but we know it's arrogance with Ophelia, right? Where she's like, for once, like I might actually have, like I can go to one of the dead gods and like tell them off, right? Like I've kind of always wanted to do that. Yeah, and just for players, right? One of the dead gods is Myri, the goddess of redemption. She got killed a while ago. But the implication here from Joser is, hey, if she could be brought onto your guys' side, even though she's dead, then maybe there's hope for anyone on the dark side of the planet. And maybe she, if anyone, could be an ally, right? If Ophelia is meant to be a spy in the dark side right now, then she needs to start doing some covert, what's the word? Not conversion, but what, like, switching someone to someone else's side in like a sort of subterfuge sort of situation. There's a word for that, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I think Joser will say, you have many people there you could talk to and seek the assistance of. I will not promise you anything that I can't guarantee. But people from Tartuit have walked the world before. I think we could do with a few animals on our side. Kind of in inferring that, well, you've had the gym that were like animals working on Earth from the dark side. Why not just get some good souls there and they can wander the Earth? A bit like the that's technically pagan, but like people watching over their loved ones as butterflies and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, that's what Philip is. Right? That's what he is like. There's ghosts can exist in this setting because of the weird soul trapping thing that happens there. And yeah, that could be a thing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do a session with Ophelia, I think, coming up here by myself and make some rolls for her and see what where this leads her. But I think this is a good path for her to go on. And try to do some stuff on the other side. There, I'll make a belief for her about Alikos and one about Myri, and we'll see what happens. Cool. Who wants to wrap up another thing before we finish here? Maya, Alpheus. Obviously Alpheus is going to bring his dagger back to Joser, but I'm not sure where that's going to go exactly. So.
And son, that's how I convince people to blow up their own temple. Take notes.
Take notes. I mean, honestly, yeah, we can at least just have Maya, like, she's obviously going to be working on this in the background. And that's honestly a good enough reason as any. Just like you come back and explain to him. I mean, yeah, you're just like bringing him into the politics of the situation, right? You're like, here's what Joser and I just did.
You have to lay out the truth, but in a calming way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think this is a child rearing test, right?
Right. That's
Yeah.
Now, is child rearing based on the child's will, or?
I believe so, yeah.
Is it? Because dang it, he has a will 6 now. Holy cow. There's no way I'm going to get routine tests on this thing.
I'll double check.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's the will of the child or as appropriate skill. So if it's instruction, it depends. Yeah, so the skill can also be used Okay, the child rearing is used to raise children with proper values and manners. The skill can also be used as instruction, cooking, and field dressing, but only for the benefit of children. So I think what you're actually doing here is making an instruction test to give him a test in persuasion or whatever. That's probably the actual mechanical thing you're doing.
Okay.
Which, you know, in terms of Burning Wheel, won't accomplish a whole lot long term or short term. But it will, I mean, for purposes of the goal, I think that makes sense for your
Right.
In theory, after the campaign ends, Maya will continue doing this for many years to come, right?
Right.
And give him some tests. Okay, let's see. Instruction, how does that work? And this actually, him having a higher will makes it easier to do instruction, so. Which is good for you.
Yes, because I need routine tests to upgrade my child rearing.
Nice.
I need 2 more.
Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Instruction. Okay, so OB1 for a routine test. I assume you're just trying to give him a routine in it, probably. Unless
Is that what he needs?
Yeah, I think so. I'll check. Yes, he needs 2 routines to level up in persuasion. So
Okay, sure. I'll give him a routine.
okay, so that's a base OB1. Social does not accrue any other penalty, so it's just an OB1 test. It will take days equal to 10 minus the instructor's will. What's your will? 6?
6.
You both have 6. Okay, so 9 days it'll take for this test to sink in and actually give him the test.
Yep, and less if you get extra successes and can speed it up.
Oh, above the 1. Okay.
Right, yeah, because it will decrease the time.
Okay, got it. Okay, what can I fork in here?
Wait, where is that listed? I think that is true, but I'm not seeing it.
It's carefully, quickly, patiently rules.
Oh, right. Yeah, just in general. 10%. It's like, what, 10% per success over decreased? Yeah, so it's just an OB1 child rearing, Maya.
Okay, I'm trying to think what I can fork into child rearing just to like get as much test as possible so it decreases the days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, are you looking those rules up, Josh? Okay, perfect. So I think there's a maximum to it too.
Can I fork in family wise?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Persuasion.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. 10% each.
Ugly truth. If you don't learn to do this, you're gonna suck as a king.
Yep. Fair enough.
I mean, you know, along those lines, but not those exact words, right?
Yep. Some tough love.
And yeah, I think that's it. I don't know
too.
that. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. So
is there a maximum to that, Josh, that you can reduce it by?
Not indicated. Yeah, there is an example for 30%, but there is no specification as to a limit.
Interesting. Well, go ahead and make the test, and we'll see. See what you get.
Oh, whoa! That was terrible.
Only a 2.
I rolled 7 dice and only got 2. Well, I mean, okay.
Very fun. Yeah. So it takes 10% less time, which I don't even think matters because it's still.
Technically, it would be like
it's still more or less 9 days, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's 8 days.
That's on the morning of the 9th day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Instead of at the end of the 9th day.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, but he'll get the test after that time passes. Very fun. Sweet. Obviously, that's happening in the background. So here's the question: do we want to save Maya does soul searching until next time?
Yeah, I don't even know what that looks like.
Yeah. I mean, we need to talk about that a little bit more. Alpheus, here, you just answered this question for me, Josh. What happens when Alpheus brings his dagger to you? Right? Like, is it anything more than just you be like patting him on the head, like, good job, like your sins are forgiven, or?
Mute my phone so it's not going ding, ding, ding while I'm talking. Yes, I think think, I mean, Jason will take the blade and inspect it, and he will say, "It's a mighty fine job. A mighty fine job. Thank you. I appreciate this."
And then he stabs you.
And Alpheus is just like, is that it? You're welcome, but is that it?
He lifts it up and he says, "You've done a fine job." And he like gestures to it and like points out a few things about the blade, and he says, "This is a fine implement. It can be incredibly deadly, or it could be the incision that saves a patient's life. But there is something in common with this and the tongue. It requires a lot of hard work to make sure that it does both and is not dangerous to anyone essentially he's trying to say, like, you had to put in a whole lot of hard work to make this, and it takes a lot of hard work to tame your tongue as well.
Yeah,
and tame your actions. It will require work, but do not think less of yourself for the fact that you need it. All people require a lot of work to tame their own selves."
So I feel like Alpheus like gets very somber, and he's like, probably like gets tears, like his eyes start to tear up, and he's like, "You're right." And then he just starts crying. And then he's like, "I get it now. Like, not like, he doesn't say like I am, but I get it now. I have to think before I speak, like my dad taught me."
Gotta take that impulsive trait off of my character sheet.
But I mean, I feel like he would. So who you're keeping the knife?
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I was hoping he'd give it back and be like, "Here, now go learn how to use it, and then I could fight." Actually, okay. So he just that's gets all sad and starts crying. Says, "You're right," and then probably just like gives you a very like proper thank you. And actually, maybe he's like saying thank you and trying to express gratitude. And then he's like, "Is there like a specific way I'm supposed to thank you, since you're like a god and all that?" And since we're on the topic of doing the right thing.
There is. I'm sure it has been depicted many of time. But
what
I have not particularly been following my own etiquette. Avra, can I borrow the irid?
And Alpheus is like, "Crap, what did I ask this guy? What did I get myself into?"
Yeah.
I'm assuming Avra.
I didn't know he was gonna open the Bible.
Yeah. Says right here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
so what do you want to do?
Unless you want to make a roll on it. Yeah.
What are you thinking here, Josh?
I don't know. Is there something that Alpheus would want to roll on it? Because you can also just make it like an etiquette test.
Are there like religious rolls or praying or something? I can roll it and fail.
Yeah, doctrine would be the test if you just want to like look up religious stuff. But like you could also make a very difficult etiquette roll too, technically.
Yeah, last time Avra did etiquette last time.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah, it was ob something.
Yeah, what was the ob on that? It was like ob to greet a god. And I think we said of 5 is what we ended up on.
Of 5.
Yeah. So of 5 etiquette, Alpheus, if you'd like to know.
All right. I got 2 6s.
Yeah, 2 6s. You have so many fate.
Could do 2 fate and
then how many dice is that?
If you spend 2 fate, 3 dice altogether.
Okay. Oh.
Woof. Yeah, I mean, Alpheus
so what happens if I fail?
He didn't pay attention in Sunday school, right? Like, he just don't know.
You can mark a bubble on it, though.
Yeah, you got a difficult test at least.
So now I get punished. Now lightning strikes outside.
Well, you just don't know what it is. And Josher, when you said like, "Hey, can I borrow the Irida?" Were you like actually saying that,
No.
or okay? All right.
No, because he kind of knows it because what's her name? Avra did it last time.
Yeah, I figured as much. So what? If
so
Alpheus
you're
just
still
doesn't
like
know,
learning. You're still learning that you're a god, or something. Is that correct?
Yeah, because he's lived like 30-something years as just a dude, like a priest. And like he probably recalls some stuff, but also even when he was a god, he didn't like turn up and have people bow to him a whole bunch. Like that wasn't really his deal. So it's almost as if the populace probably knows more about it than he does because they have like depictions of it in murals and stuff.
Okay.
Of what they're meant to do, and he doesn't think. And similarly with Maya last session, where she was asking, "Do you prefer Hagiel or Josa?" The reason he didn't reply isn't because like he was being mysterious, or not intentionally, just to be mysterious, but it's more because his thought of it is, well, what am I to you? Because like, guess I am both, but I don't really have a preference. They are both part of who I am. So do you think of me as a divine being, or do you think of me as a friend?
Yeah,
I know what Maya thinks of you as. Joser.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is just the moment where Alpheus has to decide that too. Like, what does he actually think of Joser? Do you tell Alpheus anything when because he like asked you a question, failed to know the answer to it himself, but does Joser actually like tell Alpheus anything?
Yeah, I think he does. He's like, I believe that was what Avra did the other day or yesterday, because it's only been like a day or 2 or something.
Yeah,
if that. So yeah, he's like, I believe it's the same as Avra did. You bow and look up or something, like you're looking at the sun. Only not that terrible sun, the good one, the nice one.
Alpheus probably just says, like, well, thank you. I'll get with Avra so that I can do it properly next time.
Sounds good to me.
Hagiel is converting everyone to his religion.
Well, I'm still calling him Joser.
Yeah. I'm not the father. You don't need to worship.
Cool. I'm thinking we end with Joser making the roll to warn the city, right? Because like I don't know if there's actually anything else that needs to happen in Nema. Like there's stuff that could be done in Nema, but it's not necessarily like, you know, any of your other beliefs that we weren't able to work on this session don't have to be done in Nema. That can be worked on in route to Sinia or in Sinia. So I'm thinking we maybe tie this up with a bow. You've done all the preparations you can, right? And now the question is like, because your intent here would basically be to give them all the information they need, have them believe it, and then do what they want with it. Or do you want them to take a specific course of action?
I want them to take some form of action. I don't mind which version of action it is.
Got it. And you already got the priests with their plan, so
yep.
As long as that goes off,
he does have an instinct, so he will pray beforehand. In fact, get the burning wheel book out again. Show you, mother. So he'll pray to open-end his own stuff again.
Open and give himself dice, or
To give himself dice first, I think. I'll get Thalia to help me with it.
Perfect.
So to do no Arthur base obstacle 4 because of the increased ob.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Nice.
fine. So that'll be 3 extra dice.
Mm-hmm.
Do base obstacle 2 to open end it. That's without extra dice. And then miracle his own voice to carry to the city. Minor miracle, like we did last time.
Minor miracle. Yep.
So 2 helps. Other dice, none. Base obstacle 5.
This would be the trickier one.
Yeah.
Okay, not
I
quite. You
will
can coin flip it though.
fate on it. Why not? I do need to spend fate on this faith. I just haven't got around to it. Goodness. Right, and then coin flip it. I mean, I would love it. Calling for faith, that'd be the best. Cool.
Nice.
It works.
There you go. Got a 6 too.
Okay.
All right, so Joser ascends into the clouds and
Yep, float around. I turn into the little Mario Kart man on a cloud and go, whee!
Very good.
I pull out the fishing pole that Malekith gave me and we go floating into the air. Okay.
Now I'm just imagining a Death Unto Madness themed version of a kart racing game and what everybody's little vehicles would be. And
Yep, and little enchanted carts from...
Yeah, from Nema. Yeah, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I don't think I get quite as many forks as last time. But... I did not type out a speech this time. That's the biggest downfall that I've ever made. Yes. But yes, he will like float into the air and say, people of Nema, men, women, children, valiant warriors, enchanters, those on the streets and in the high places. Danger approaches the city of Nema. Even now it lies in the mountains. The demons of Tatuit, the great rock golems, the dark dust, that, what were they, the Brass League or Brass?
Yeah, Brass League is the mercenaries. Yeah.
Yep. The same dust that the Brass League brought back from Tatuit itself now will rain upon this city to bring it down, to attempt to destroy the deity you hold dear, to take over the temple. But you have the opportunity to know this beforehand, to make your choice, to make your stand. I know that there is a great love you have for this city. But there is also something to be said for discretion. You are a warrior race. You are a race of enchanters. You have the chance to begin a vigilant defense. You also have the chance to retreat and wait for another day. I leave that choice up to you. I leave it up to you how you will take action in your souls. But something must be done. And something will be done. I ask for it to be on your terms rather than theirs. You have seen the smaller son, the small dwarf, take over the place in the sky. But I tell you, I am not yet gone. Hagiel remains. You see him before you. I will assist how I can. I have made plans. I have put them in place. So I simply ask you, people of Nema, to take action. And there was something I was going to do, and I forgot what it was. Get out later. Yeah, so he kind of finishes there, and what's the thing? He says, if you would stand, enchant your weapons to send them back. If you would stand, enchant your lands, that they may not possess them. And if you fall back, do so with the knowledge that your gods and goddesses stand with you. And then, yes.
Very fun.
Mm-hmm. So
Make that roll.
oratory. 3 helps from faith. Actually, I forgot to open it. So 3 helps from faith. Ugly truth, obviously. Suasion. Many souls. Soothing platitudes. He'll add in some stuff about like details as to how they function. Like you can't just kill them. You have to either send them back to tattoo it or thingy, and like lay out the logical problems you're facing. Rhetoric, persuasion. It is in their best interests. Anticipation wise, I don't know that I can really address different. He probably says to like the different people, it's like the different what's called mercenary leaders. It's like now is not the time for politics and working out. Oh no, if we leave, someone might take our place. You're all under the same threat. It's time to unite. I don't know that I can get any theme. It's maybe philosophy.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, and then astrology. I don't know that doctrine really helps. So we'll just go with those.
Trying to think what the ob is. It's not the same sort of situation as what you do with Set Kiss, where you're trying to like convert the city to your side. You're just trying to, again, rouse them to action, any action, like to save their city. Let's say ob 7. Still difficult. I mean, you're literally appearing to them in the sky and probably confusing many, many people, but and there's a historical distrust they all have for each other, so uniting them would be difficult. But
yep. Alrighty. I'm not going to spend persona on it. I'm trying to save up a bit. So we'll go that.
Hey, nice.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, so I think we end the episode seeing this, and but if Joser had failed this, it would have been a lot of like, wait, you're just telling us this and leaving? Like, you're such a jerk. How dare you? Like, but this is like, you've already done enough spade work with the twin temple, and they can corroborate the story when people start asking about it, that by the time the Tartuans actually show up, the city is organized. And again, they're not going to be able to do a whole lot in the long run against these things, but with the temple like temple trap you set in place. At the very least, you've done what you could. And I think probably what happens, right, is we see a montage of this. We see them organizing. We see you guys shipping off your mercenaries and leaving Nema. And we skip ahead, and the last thing we see is like the Tartuans, Attack on Titan style, appearing above the mountains and starting to rumble down into the city walls.
Yeah, out of the fog that was slowing them down.
Yeah, exactly. We see that the initial frenzy of this fight. We see a city organized, very well organized, with skilled mercenaries, all having enchanted items. Right, they're able to do a lot, even against the Brass League, even against the Tartuans. They have city walls, right? And even though the Tartuans can break down city walls, it's still city walls. And there's still fortifications and siege equipment and whatever else they have. They have things they can use to slow the advance. But they can't ultimately hold them forever, and they break through. We see many of these Tartuans it's kind of like we see Beirut marching through the city with like a much darker look on his face. His eyes seem kind of black and shadowed in a way that they weren't before. He's holding this like dark gleaming spear. And he is like flanked he has like an honor guard of Tartuans around him, right? That are just like smashing everything in his wake as he's like being led to the temple, right? To like do his job. And everything seems to be going according to their plan, right? Like even though the resistance, the city's building up resistance, they're confident that, okay, this is happening. The Nikaim, we see Althea and Perrin and whoever else survived from the Nikaim cult doing their ritual, right? To try to weaken Nessanhur, make her vulnerable. And I think at first it seems like they did do something, and maybe you set up this beacon to work in such a way that like, it makes them think they did something, and that she did indeed drop into the temple and is now there vulnerable. And so like, we see the priests, right? Just praying, right? They're ready to die with their temple. And we see that the two high priests kneeling before the statues of their gods, and then the doors get slammed open by some of these, and they're probably like troll-sized Tartuans, so not like the giant Titan, like colossal Titan style ones, but more like trolls from Lord of the Rings. And they kind of break through the door, and Beirut and some of his mercenaries are with them. And they just start killing priests, left and right. And there is like a woman who seems to be facing away from them, crumpled in the floor, kind of holding her shoulders. And if we didn't know what Joser had done, we would have thought, oh no, this is Nessanhur. She's about to die. And Beirut steps up to her as like, the mercenaries and the Tartuans are just destroying the temple. And Beirut walks up to her, holds the spear in his hands, goes to raise it, and then the figure turns around, and I think it's an image of Thalia for a moment. She's not actually there, but it's like as if her spirit is like there for a moment, and she just smiles, and like a wicked sort of like, we got you smile. And Beirut frowns, like, because he knows the description of Nessanhur, and this isn't it. And then the image vanishes, and Beirut just says, what in the... And then what does it look like when the temple just like goes?
Yeah, I think like the image of Thalia glimmers and vanishes, and then all of a sudden there's like, you see all the archer angels that were there that he placed in the barrier, and they've all just like been pulled down, and then they just all loose their arrows everywhere and just like shatters everything.
Yeah. We see like all the windows, like whatever stained glass windows or whatever they had, like shatter outwards, and then suddenly like it's just like holes being ripped from the inside out, ripping through pieces of the temple, and eventually just like the structural integrity goes, and the whole thing just crumbles inward. And the last thing we see is, we cut ahead, and there's rubble and stuff, and The city of Nema has certainly been like a lot of bad stuff has happened. There's like refugees going into the mountains to try to like escape the demolishing of things. There's ships that have been sent off with women and children. And we see Surash making his way through the city up to the ruins of the temple, because he wasn't there. He didn't get imploded, but he leans down and sees this situation, growls, loosens some of the earth until he sees like the shimmering black spear just sticking into the ground, because it was like gray shade magical. It's not destroyed, but Beirut's crumpled body is next to it, and he just like shakes his head and says, "A shame. I suppose I will have to find another wielder for this." And he like with like tiny rock finger, like with the huge rock fingers, grabs a little shard of metal, and I think looks up towards the sun, right, to the small sun, and he says, I think he just looks up to the sun, has the shard of metal in his hand, and that's where we just cut. I don't think we hear anything else from him, but we can tell he has an idea of like who he wants to give this to, but we don't know yet who.
Little does he know that we have a plan to have Alpheus ask Cyrillus to stop and,
and get some help.
Just persuade him to stop.
Help. Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think that's where we end. We'll go ahead and do Artha and get out of here. All right, Alpheus.
It's easy.
Didn't
I
work.
conquered my second belief.
Yeah, but you sought clarity and got it from Joser. So persona. But that's all you did today. But I'm glad we finally got to see Alpheus do some weaponsmithing stuff.
Something other than persuasion.
I know. Every once in a while, Alpheus does like a circles test or bureaucracy, but it's still like ultimately.
I was looking at my
persuasion.
being learned, and I was like, "Man, when did I use drinking?" And then I remembered way back in the beginning. I think that's where I met Cyrillus.
Yep. You did a drinking contest
because he was a drunkard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always had a vision in my head early on in season 1 that like we would get like a moment where Alpheus would make the weapon that then Cyrillus would enchant so he could become the god killer and use it. But it never ended up happening. Alpheus became a good guy eventually. So
eventually,
now we do have to have Alpheus like meet Cyrillus in that one bar to persuade him to stop and get help.
That would be pretty great.
Great.
Don't worry, I have some ideas. So let's see if there's anything else.
I don't think I did
traits or anything.
No.
Yeah, probably true. All good. It was an Alpheus Light episode this time. We had to wrap up a whole bunch of stuff in Nema. So, all right, cool. Sounds good. So just persona. Joser. You're muted.
There you go. Yes, I did warn the populace of the Tartan threat.
You did,
and I did save Ness and her.
Persona.
So, oop.
Very fun.
Oop. I didn't quite get in touch with one of my Embara.
Not quite. I'll give you a fate point for if I see wounds, I mend them. Alpheus, right? That was fun to see the way you went about doing that.
What?
Joser has an instinct called if I see wounds, I mend them. And I thought I'm giving him a fate point for his scene with you.
He mended.
The way he used that. Yeah, exactly. He saw a wound in you and found a way to mend it. No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
It's very symbolic. That one.
Let's see. Anything else here? I don't think so. If a trait came up, it like helped you a bunch. Didn't necessarily get you into trouble or.
Yeah. No, Joser is still strange and everything, but it wasn't like it pushed it.
It wasn't overtly, yeah.
Although I guess like we could probably count something like strange for like for being so mysterious to actually cause Avra to have to do rolls.
Yeah, that's true.
Not
Also,
distilling.
and also, actually, Alpheus's weaponsmith buddy. Like that was all Joser being strange. So yeah, you can take a fate point for that.
Yep.
That makes sense. All right, Maya. You're working on teaching.
I'm working on teaching Ben how to be charismatic.
I think like after you get him an advancement in persuasion, you'll get to do a persona on it, but you could keep the belief as is until indefinitely, right? Until I guess he got 10 persuasion.
Right. Okay. I did assist Joser in saving Nessanhur.
You did persona.
Okay. And then I didn't do anything to help redeem my soul.
You figure that out for next time. I'll give you a fate point for always be helping from behind the scenes, right? Maya has consistently shown how good she is at that, and it's fun to see.
Okay.
But I think that's it. And we can after we do Avra's, we can look at the extra Artha stuff too. But Avra.
Okay. I believe that with the help of the Iridan, Ophelia can stop what is coming. Definitely worked on that one.
Yeah. The way it's worded, I'm not sure how you complete it. I will be in communication with Ophelia as how to save Senate. You can have it like that as long as you would like, and you get fate points on it. But
yeah, I should probably change it. I don't know why I had it that way. I should probably change it to I will.
Yeah, if you had it be like I will make sure Ophelia will work with me to save Sinia, then that would have been a persona this.
Yeah.
Session, but
yeah, I think that was the idea that we were going for there. It just was worded weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can take persona, and then you can rewrite that now to be whatever you want that next step to be. Getting in touch with Alikos or whatever. You did discover what Joser knows about your former bird, so that's persona there. We can do more Balthazar stuff next time. I'm going to give you a fate point for careful. You could have come at the whole conversation with Ophelia being like, it's all right, Ophelia, right? Like, I'm here with you. I'm your sister. Like, I'll get you through this. Because, I mean, that would have been the easy way to do that. Even if you were manipulating her and not being truthful about it, that would have been, like, the easy way of doing it. But Avra stuck to her guns and was like, no, I'm going to keep Ophelia at a distance. Like, she doesn't deserve to get close to me right now.
I very much did not want her to be the Vi to the Jinx in Arcane, where she's just like, well, she's my sister. I have to bring her back. Like, no, actually, she's given me no reason.
She's a horrible sociopath who probably deserves to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can take a fate point for that. And then let's see, look at the extra Artha stuff. Any in character game stopper humor this time? Anything coming to mind?
I don't recall one, but I can do the listen to it anyway.
More or less. Yeah,
I can do the listen through it thing again. So.
Alpheus, take right skill, right time. You had weaponsmith. Take a fate for that. But I think that's probably it for that. Let's see, embodiment or mold breaker. I don't know. Any nominations from anyone? For really good or distinctive role playing, or for going beyond the bounds of the character, having your beliefs and instincts conflict?
I actually really enjoyed the whole Avra and Ophelia scene. I thought that was really telling, kind of like what you were saying earlier of like Avra not going like down the easy path and like role playing out this whole thing of like, no, you need to hear this truth, because I don't think she's ever done that with Ophelia before.
No,
so
yeah. Sure.
I thought it was interesting.
No, that makes sense to me. Is that just embodiment, we think? It's this persona point either way, but yeah. Okay. Does Ophelia get a persona point too?
No.
No.
Just kidding.
I don't think so.
What?
Ophelia was just being Ophelia.
No, for really good or this is for me, Carly. Did I have really good or distinctive role playing with Ophelia?
I will give persona points to those two random priestess, the priest and priestess, so that they have a chance to get out from underneath their rubble of the temple.
Yeah, they got whisked away on chariots of fire as the angels came, you know. So did Ophelia get a persona point or not?
Sure, Caleb, but take your own persona
Yay!
point.
Roll a die of fate.
Die of fate now. I put my heart and soul into that scene. I am on so little sleep right now, and I still did it. Anyway, cool. Yep, I think that's it for now. So like the tentative plan is still we're free going forward and just keep plugging along on these Fridays. See how far we can get.
Believe so.
So yeah, next week. Sounds good. So here's a quick question before we sign off. Is there anything you guys want to do on the boat to Sinia, or is Joser going to just transport you instantly to Sinia? I guess.
Well, that's what I was going to
question.
ask, because my beliefs will look differently based on if Joser just transported us. Or...
That is a question. What would
Can
you
he
like
do
to
that?
Josh? He did it before already. That's how they got to Nema so quickly.
Yeah. The issue being it's a high ob thing, and
You might fail.
yeah,
And suddenly you're in Tartuit.
yeah. And I basically the basic thing is I don't want to spend my deeds point on getting a ship to go faster. Yes.
Did you want to do a more minor role where just like ship goes faster, but you don't get instantly transported?
Yeah, I dare say we can do a quicker one like that.
A minor miracle, maybe.
Yeah, like a minor miracle, or even a minor miracle and an enhanced weather sense to try and give some more wind or something.
Sure, yeah.
But
Let's go ahead and make those rolls right now, just so I know for sure whether or not we're on the boat for a little while or just in Sinia.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay.
Whatever you would like to do first.
So,
is fine with me.
So first of all, let's do the minor miracle thing and see if that functions.
This is technically like, I think, targeting you. Like it's targeting other people too, but I think it can count for believer.
Okay. And then I'll get Thalia's help on it.
Okay. Yep.
Oop.
What is a goddess daughter for, if not to help?
If not help things, exactly. That's what she's there for. Because I have all my difficulties. I just need challenging faith tests, the impossible things. Yep. And then I'll why not? We'll just do this other thing and see how we go. 2 helps again. Arthur dice none. Based obstacle 4. Let's see if I can get. Yep. So I can get myself more dice.
Well, I think it would have been 5, right? Because the increased ob, and then going down for believers, so it ends up being the normal. But you see it either way.
Well, this is for extra dice. An extra dice is an ob 4 reduced to 3, increased to 4.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't realize that's what you're doing.
All good. 3 helps on that. No Arthur, and I believe it's like 4 for wind.
For you do weather sense,
just for us. Yeah, I don't think it needs to be.
So it's what approximate time.
Yeah,
yeah,
approximate time, but accurate weather and everything. So
yep.
Poop. Let's see if I can do that. I do.
Just barely. Very good. Joser, as the god of the weather, has sent favorable winds. So it's not instantaneous. So there will be some time that passes here, but I think you guys will arrive. Yeah. We'll start the next session in Sinia. Makes sense to me. So we can talk.
At the very least, that if you have a belief to do on the ship, you can do it before the ship. If you don't, we can just skip it.
I don't know if there was any belief that was like predicated per se on doing it on the ship, so we can probably just start in Sinia. But if you did have something you wanted to do beforehand, you could.
I want to get my soul right before I get to Sinia in case
Fair
I
enough.
die.
Yes, we can start with that next time.
Fair
That makes
enough.
sense. That
Yep.
makes sense. Good time to do it too. Introspective, as you're just sailing along. Cool. Yeah, we can figure out any belief changes in the Discord chat if we need to, because it will be definitely a new situation, and we can talk a little bit about what that will look like and what we'll do as soon as you guys get there. But we can do that offline. So
Cool.
All right. Thanks for playing, guys. It was fun.
Adios.
Adios.